Okay. All right, go ahead, Cynthia.
Thank you. I appreciate that this is an ongoing conversation. And as you mentioned, conversation changes every day. The conditions change every day. Since you weren't here earlier, I hope that I just want to share with you my position in this conversation, if it can help inform your team as you move forward. It is, in terms of my community relations, my responsibility to advocate on behalf of my community for the best deal that my community can receive. Since you weren't here earlier, with Cornell not providing a significant contribution to the school district or a significant contribution to the county, we in the city are facing the obligation of providing resources and services to make up that gap, that for the needs of our community that are not being met because our school district and our county and our city are starving for resources. My son's girlfriend is a substitute teacher in the schools, and the stories that I am hearing about the struggles that our school district is facing in terms of staffing shortages and inability to attract and retain teachers and substitutes because of the limited resources and just the incredible needs that they have. And then our departments have waiting lists for the services that we provide to families who their kids are struggling in the schools. And then we have programs at GIAC and the Youth Bureau and yes, through Southside to address those needs that we are trying to support. If you had been here earlier, you have heard about the homeless population and the growing needs there. The county needs resources that aren't being reimbursed by the state and federal government in order to address people who are falling between the cracks because they don't get DSS reimbursement. And that's going to come out of county funds. But as far as I know, Cornell does not contribute to county taxes either. And so we as a city are struggling to make up those services, and our taxpayers are paying for that. I cannot in good conscience support this deal that is being offered, a 20-year term tied to inflation. I appreciate the $4 million. I think it's great. In light of the lack of contribution to the county and the school district, it is still not enough. I mean, $650,000 to the school district, great. But, you know, from a person's property taxes, that's pretty much half of their property taxes is school district taxes. So, you know, we carry the burden of school district taxes in addition to county and city taxes as well. So I understand when you're saying that your costs are tied to inflation. I don't believe your healthcare is tied to inflation. I'm sure you face the same type of pension and healthcare increases the way we do. I'm sure you budget for that as well. I'm sure that there are ways that you could accommodate for inflation plus, as much as you can accommodate for inflation, as much as you can accommodate for rapidly increasing insurance costs and everything else. So I do believe that there could be, I would like to see flexibility, inflation +2. I would like to see a shorter term. Again, the changes and the challenges that we are facing were unfathomable 20 years ago, let alone now how we need to mitigate and adapt to climate change and the impacts that that's going to have on our community. You know, this is something that we weren't even talking about 7 years ago. I'd like to see a 7-year term, a higher contribution, and inflation +2. I hope you will share that in part of your conversations with your team. And just as your job is community relations, my job is community relations. As we go door to door and meet with our constituents, I need to look them in the eye and tell them what I stand for. And what I stand for is doing everything possible to have a really vibrant partnership with Cornell to support our workers and our residents.
Thank you.